All right, let's jump right in. Welcome to today's explainer, everyone. Now, if you're a B2 or C1 English learner, you've already got the basics down. You know how to communicate your needs, and you can comfortably navigate the world in English. But today, our goal is to help you move beyond just getting by. We want to take your vocabulary from basic to a much higher, honestly, more poetic level of expressiveness. We're going to focus on truly elevating your English, and we're going to do that by mastering one incredibly powerful, high-level word, cascade. By the end of this explainer, you're going to have this fantastic new tool in your vocabulary belt to help you sound more articulate, more native-like, and just significantly more expressive overall.
We're actually kicking things off today thanks to a listener named Amelia. She stumbled across this absolutely beautiful quote while reading the novel Before Your Memory Fades by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. Just listen to this sentence for a second. What seems like a long stretch of time cascaded down in moments. It's gorgeous, right? Notice how this single word, cascaded, completely transforms what could have been just a standard kind of boring sentence into absolute C1 level poetry. It's comparing time itself to falling water. It's dramatic, it's highly visual, and it's exactly the kind of language that brings your spoken and written English to life.
So here's our roadmap for today. We'll be covering mastering high-level expression, the literal meanings of cascade, cascade as a metaphor, everyday alternative expressions, and finally, how to boost your IELTS score.
Section 1. Mastering high-level English expression. You know, advanced language isn't just about memorizing big, complicated dictionary words and forcing them into a sentence. True high-level expression is about showing your unique personality, your emotions, and your distinct perspective. It's about having the right descriptive words to literally paint a picture for your listener, which builds a much deeper connection. And that brings us to the definition of our feature word. Cascade really has two main applications. Literally, it means something that flows downward. I want you to vividly picture water rushing and falling over rocks. That visual image of a waterfall? That's your anchor for this concept. Now, figuratively, it means causing a chain reaction or an overwhelming flow of something. We're going to explore both of these, but keep that mental picture of falling, flowing water in your head as we go.
Let's look at a direct comparison to see why elevating your vocabulary actually matters so much. On the left, we've got a perfectly fine sentence. Tears fell down his face. I mean, it's grammatically correct, it gets the point across, but over on the right, we have tears cascaded down his cheeks. You can immediately feel the difference there, can't you? The second one elevates the description to this dramatic, almost cinematic level. It gives the listener a vivid emotional image. And guys, that is the true power of high-level expressiveness.
Moving right along to Section 2, literal meanings of cascade.
When we talk about physical flow, you might describe water cascading down rocks, like at the majestic Niagara Falls. Or picture this, you're describing a gorgeous villa you saw on vacation, with lush green vines cascading down a weathered brick wall in Italy. You could even use it to describe a person in a painting who has long, beautiful hair cascading down their back, kind of like a mermaid. Now, are you going to use this flowery language on your daily commute to work? Probably not, but having these words ready to go allows you to paint a stunning picture with words when the moment is exactly right.
All right, Section 3, cascade as a metaphor.
This is where we really enter that C1 level territory. In this context, the word becomes incredibly powerful and super useful in business settings, news reports, and complex global conversations. Think back to the 2008 global housing crash. Step 1, subprime mortgages are lent out by banks. Step 2, these bad loans trigger ripple effects throughout the entire market. Step 3, the economic consequences cascade globally. Because the global economy is just so interconnected, one single problem triggered another and then another, until it literally flowed across the whole world. It's honestly the perfect description of a negative chain reaction.
But hey, it doesn't always have to be a negative thing. This metaphor can also describe an overwhelming volume of something deeply positive. Check out this example. After I broke the news that I was engaged, emails cascaded into my inbox. In this case, cascaded represents a sudden, massive flood of congratulatory messages arriving all at the exact same time, much like a sudden rush of water. It perfectly captures that specific feeling of being happily overwhelmed by a massive volume of incoming communication.
Which brings us to Section 4, everyday alternative expressions.
To be truly fluent, you absolutely need practical alternatives for casual, everyday conversations. So let's build out that practical vocabulary toolkit. If you want the literal meaning but in a much more casual way, native speakers will usually just say flow down or pour down, like the tears poured down his cheeks. For a chain reaction or momentum, we love using the words snowball or spiral. Imagine making a tiny snowball at the top of a hill. As it rolls, it gets bigger and bigger, right? You could say, I told 2 people about the party and it just snowballed from there. Spiral works the exact same way. Finally, for high volume, instead of saying messages cascaded, you'd probably just say they flooded in or poured in. Job applications flooded in. These alternatives carry that exact same chain reaction energy, but feel much more down to earth for your day-to-day life.
Consider this super relatable everyday scenario. We missed the bus, then we couldn't find the tickets. Basically, one thing led to another and we missed the entire concert. That phrase, one thing led to another, is a highly natural, totally neutral way native speakers describe a series of events that trigger one another. It's perfectly casual, it can be used for positive or negative situations, and it effortlessly communicates that domino effect without sounding overly dramatic. So what does it actually look like when we blend these two styles together? Here's a little snippet from a conversational role play set right at Niagara Falls. One person says, "Wow, the way the water cascades over the edge is stunning." They're using our poetic feature word to describe the beautiful nature in front of them. Then, the friend responds, "If one thing leads to another, we'll be here all day." See what happened there? They seamlessly mix that poetic observation with a casual, everyday idiom. And guys, this is the true hallmark of fluency, knowing exactly when to be artistic and when to be conversational, all within the exact same chat.
Section 5. Boosting your IELTS score.
Let's tie all of this back to your real-world goals, especially for those of you taking proficiency exams. Dropping a word like cascade during an IELTS test is an absolute game changer. It instantly increases your vocabulary score because examiners are actively listening for a lexical resource, which basically means your ability to use less common, highly precise vocabulary. Swapping out a basic word like fall for cascade helps you immediately stand out from thousands of other test takers. But even beyond exams, it gives you genuine cultural fluency. It equips you to confidently step into high-culture environments, like the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, and articulately discuss the flow of light or color in a painting with native-speaking friends. It takes you completely out of basic textbook English and into the realm of real, lived expression.
And that brings us to the end of today's explainer. I want to leave you with a quick challenge to activate everything you've just learned. Ask yourself right now, what is a recent event in your life that snowballed? Or think back to a recent vacation. Is there a beautiful, vivid scene you could describe right now using the word cascading? Seriously, try writing those sentences down right after this. Take these words out of this explainer and bring them into your everyday life. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Keep striving for that next level of expressiveness, and I will catch you in the next one.
Got it! What's up? Catch up! Aha!